As long as he's out on the floor, I think he can. I mean, obviously, the minutes have to decrease slightly, but as long as he's playing in games, I certainly think so. When you talk about some of the things he's been able to do, Skip, he's 59% from field goal this season. That's his current high, career high. 39% from three, second career high. Now, when you start looking at the body of work that he's put together this season, you've got to tip your hat off to a guy at 38 years old. Now, those numbers in career highs, obviously, we're talking about when he was younger. He's surpassing that now as he's older and getting ready to eclipse that. But it's all in the mind. For whatever reason with him, this year I feel like he's on a mission to prove based on what happened against Denver.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he also went through something with his son earlier this season or earlier in the summertime that I think reshifted his focus and purpose in basketball as well. So I think he's taken to both of those. But, yeah, for sure, man, the dude is on a mission. If some players in the NBA or professional sports had his same mentality, they'd be at a whole nother level.
Agreed.
It's just his mentality is just different. That's all. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they had his mentality, then his run may not have lasted this long, and maybe he still wouldn't be at the top of the game in the face of the league. But this is why he's the face of the league, because he has this mentality. He keeps improving, even in year 21, when he's about to be 39 years old. He's a guy that's shooting the ball great. He's a guy that's making clutch plays down the stretch. He's driving the ball more. He's being smarter. He's still distributing to his teammates. So, yeah, I mean, what he's doing, Skip, is what he has always done. So, yes, I mean, until he's done doing it, I think age ain't nothing but a number. You heard the song, Skip. It ain't nothing but a number. Yep. And LeBron James encapsulates that with his play year in and year out, averaging 28 points in year 20, and now doing the same thing and having a statistically great November. I don't see why he doesn't continue it, Skip. He's healthy. He feels good. He looks good. They limit his minutes when they can and in games that they're in control of. They gave him a game off this season already, so I think he'll continue.
Okay, so the key is we got to differentiate between which stats he will continue. I'm going to say this again because I say it every year, all year long. He is still the greatest driver of the basketball I have ever seen, and to this moment, he's still the best driver of the basketball in the league at age 38 going on 39. He is an absolute powerhouse coming down the lane. 6'9", I don't know what he weighs now, 260, maybe 270. And he's still just as explosive as ever. He's got the same quickness. He doesn't leap quite the way he used to, but it doesn't matter because he's just so powerful up in his upper body that he can just bounce any defender off him like Dylan Brooks tries to guard him. Dylan Brooks got no chance. Dylan Brooks is 6'7", LeBron's 6'9", and outweighs him 30 or 40 pounds. The point is, you can't keep him from the rim. And the other great thing about LeBron is he's ambidextrous because he's born left-handed and he plays, as you know, right-handed, but he can also play left-handed. So either way, left or right, he's actually better driving it left-handed to get to the rack. But the point is he's still the best passer in basketball. He's still running the show for the Lakers, high usage rate. He's high in turnovers, and I don't mind that. He's fifth in turnovers in the league. It's just going to happen because he's got the ball in his hands so much. So now we get to the other key stats, which are shooting the basketball. The best stat so far to me about LeBron is he has cut his three-point attempts from 2 years ago, 8 a game, down to 5 a game. He falls in love with the three too much, and we all agree he's a below-average three-point shooter by career. You can just look at he's 34.5% for his career from three. He will regress to the mean, as they say in analytics. At some point this year, it will come back more. Maybe he could shoot 36 or 37% and have a career great year. But he's not going to shoot 40% from three because he's never come close to shooting 40% over the duration of an entire season. He's had a couple of high ones, but not like that. So the point is, at this age, if he'll just keep it to 5 attempts a game, you have a chance to win because you can't fall in love and try to take 10 threes a game. Sometimes he just goes crazy and he'll have a 2 for 10 night, and it's hard to win that way because there's too many wasted trips. The other part is he's still 69% from the free throw line, which by his standards, as the greatest scorer in the history of the league, it's just not good enough. You got to be better than that because he's a career 73.5% free throw shooter. But if you look at the big picture of his career, since he came into the league, if you look at the 34 players who have shot 4,000 or more three-point attempts, LeBron is third worst of those 34. And there are 34 also who've attempted 4,000 or more free throws, and LeBron is the fifth worst. That's just who he is as a shooter. So he's on a hot streak this month, and I don't see him keeping that part up. But as far as shooting 61% this month, that you could keep up because it's just hard to keep.
So why couldn't he keep 44% 3 from 3 up? Well, just because you said he hadn't done it
he's never
in the
done
past,
it. He's never come close.
But he also went from 8 to 5. Mm-hmm. So if you go from 8 to 5,
helps a little bit.
It's going to help your percentage increase if you're knocking down a high percentage of those 5.
You're going to keep going. We got a long way to go here.
If he's shooting only 5 of them on an average right now,
we're still in November.
Yeah, but Skip, the math says if he's shooting only 5 of them and he's knocking, I don't know, 3 of the 5 down, that percentage is going to continue to go up.
Okay, so I'm going to remind you, during the playoffs last year in fourth quarters, he set the NBA playoff record for most missed threes in a row.
I understand. And the playoffs are in May.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a long time from now, right?
Okay, that was in May.
Right.
But this is November we're talking about. We're not talking about May in the playoffs. We're talking about right now in November. Can he keep this up, what he's doing right now in November? 61% from the field, 44, 3%.
March.
Average 28, 8 boards, 6 assists. Like, he can keep that up as long as he's on the floor.
As long as he's on the floor.
Yeah, and he's healthy. He's healthy. What he wasn't in May, Skip, was healthy. He wasn't healthy in May. He had that foot injury. He was coming off the foot injury. Still wasn't 100%. Skip, he's healthy. He looks healthy. He's driving the ball well. When you're driving the ball well, people back off. He's got space on these threes. That's why he's hitting them. These are open threes that he's hitting, Skip. He's not taking a lot of contested, hand-in-your-face threes. He's taking open threes because people are scared he's going to drive the basketball. Mm-hmm. And if he keeps doing that, he's leaving people in a quandary. So he's going to have open threes. He's hitting them at a high clip. Skip, I see it continuing.
But, Richard, I thought he looked really healthy against Memphis in the first round of the playoffs and even healthier against Golden State in the second round of the playoffs. And there were times he looked really healthy against Denver in the conference finals until the fourth quarters. They have 4 tight fourth quarters, and he shot 1 of 10 from 3 because that's more of who he is or who he is not.
Skip,
that's who he's been.
When you're a great player, you can make things look like they're supposed to look even when they're not. And of course, in the fourth quarter, when his body is wear and tear, the muscles are starting to fatigue, the injury is going to be more prevalent. His body is breaking down. Skip, if he's healthy in May, you're going to see numbers that look like this.
Okay, so you think he'll shoot 44% in the playoffs from 3? If he did, I'd get up in the middle of this desk and give him a standing ovation.
But he's not going to be shooting 10 and 12 and 13 of them.
Well, so his nature is to the hotter, the more. He'll fall in love. He loves to shoot threes.
So far, in the month of November, that hasn't been the case.
Hasn't been the case yet.
So, and he's playing extremely well. And the Lakers are winning. They just won a game against Houston where he played extremely well.
Yeah, they're 8-6.
He's smart enough to know that if he's playing at the level that he played in the month of November, in May, then they'll have an opportunity to win it all. But if you do something that, shoot the ball out, building bricks at the backboard, he's smart enough to know I can't do that. Even Anthony Davis isn't shooting threes like he was in the past. So maybe...
Even though Darvin, before the year, was encouraging him to take, like 6 a game.
Things do change.
Yeah.
They change when you start to see it. You make the necessary adjustments. And when you look at Anthony Davis, he's not shooting the lights out at the 3 like that. So they must have said to them, hey, let's regress on shooting threes and let some other people that can knock them down, like Cam Reddish and Austin Reeves, take those threes.
Yep, I got it. Now, back to Richard's point about staying healthy. I don't even like to talk about this, so I'm going to knock on my wood here. So LeBron so far has played the 29th most minutes in the NBA. It's 34 minutes a night. And that's still top 30 minutes for a guy who is going on December 30th. He'll be 39 years of age. That's dangerously high. It's been required because they have been injured as a team, and they still don't have Gabe Vincent, and they still don't have Jared Vanderbilt. And it's hurt their rotation in many different ways on defense and at the three-point shooting mark, because Gabe Vincent can stroke it from there, and he can make big fourth quarter threes. So the point is, LeBron has been forced into more duty than I think he wanted this early in the year. But that's, again, when you played top 30 minutes at this stage of the year at his age, whew, you're daring the devil.
It's all part of the plan, man.
Stop saying.
Is it?
It's all
Stop
part of the
saying
plan.
age like it matters with LeBron James.
It's all part of the plan,
Like
Skip.
he just averaged 28. He's had career years in year 20, 19, 18. Skip, these are years that if you put on other people's resume, it'd be the greatest year they ever had.
Well, sure.
Far and away.
Absolutely.
So let's stop acting like age is a number at his age. Just trust he's a different animal. He's a guy that will be studied by science when it's all said and done, and they'll try to recreate and clone him because, Skip, another person like this has not existed and does not exist.
Okay, yet all I heard through the Denver series last year, obviously you guys weren't with me on the show, but all I heard sitting in this chair was, hey, come on, he's 38. He ran out of gas.
You didn't hear
He
that
hit the
from me.
wall.
No,
38.
You didn't hear that from me. I just said
didn't
he
hear
was
that from me.
tired. You could look at his legs and tell he was tired. But that was coming off injuries. Okay, if you remember going into the playoffs, he had just got back. He wasn't back. He didn't come back like with 100 games ago. He barely played at the end of the season. And so then when you go into the playoffs and you're trying to carry a team, you're going to get fatigued. I mean, he got fatigued, and they're in Denver in altitude, okay? So there were some adjustments that needed to be made, and I'm sure this year they're going to make the necessary adjustments.
Okay, I got it.
Keyshawn, he even came back early in the playoffs because they had to play in the play-in, and he had to make sure
I forgot
they
about the
got
play-in.
in the playoffs. They had to play in. So he had to come back earlier than he wanted to. He didn't get to heal as much as he could have if they had just been a regular playoff team.
Okay.
They had to fight all the way down the stretch, Skip.
Okay, but I thought you said age is just a number, which I completely agree with. So why should we say he ran out
But
of
if you're
gas?
sitting there playing extra games, Skip, they had to play more games than Denver did. So while Denver was resting, they were battling for a play-in spot. So those are on your legs, Skip. So no matter what, more is more. So he has, 3-4 more games than the whole Denver Nuggets team. Skip, that's going to make a difference.
I thought nobody spent as much keeping his body in supreme condition as LeBron James, right? That's all I ever hear. He spends $2 million a year.
Yeah, that's fine. He can spend $10 million a year. It doesn't matter. If you're fatigued, you're fatigued.
Oh.
The best players in sports, sometimes they get fatigued.
Yeah.
You know, the Federers and the Nadals playing tennis, they get fatigued. They don't just keep beating everybody every single time. At some point, your legs are going to be tired.
Okay, but to me, 38's not all that old. Even to you, I don't think you consider it all that old, right?
Yeah, but Skip, you're trying to communicate with me and Richard. I'm not even going to use the word argue. You're trying to communicate this with me and Richard as if we don't see LeBron on the court as being fatigued. Oh, you're the only one that sees it. We see it. That's why we're saying it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, he's 38, but at some point, coming off an injury, playing in the play-in, then a series against Memphis, then a series against Golden State, then having to go back and forward to Denver, that's a lot.
Yeah, I heard this all the way back in 2016, the first time they played Golden State. Remember, they're up 2-1, and LeBron had played, to me, the 3 greatest playoff games in a row of his career. He had carried that team because, remember, they didn't have Kevin Love and Kyrie because they lost Kevin ahead of the playoffs and then lost Kyrie in overtime of Game 1 at Oracle. And yet you had a Game 4 at your house, up 2-1. And I'm thinking, this is going to be LeBron's greatest feat. Where if you win that Game 4 and you go up 3-1, I think you got a really good chance of beating Golden State before they were really Golden State. Obviously, they didn't have Kevin yet. And yet they had a great regular season. And all I heard on this show, it was actually the former show at that point, but in his first incarnation, was he ran out of gas. And I'm like, He's the greatest conditioned athlete in the world. How can you run out of gas? Run out of gas
Skip,
at that stage?
So
Seriously?
You just said, Skip, these are the kind of points you make that bamboozle me. And I mean,
no, your point bamboozles me. I hear.
I'm trying to
I
understand.
Hear both sides
so
of the mouth.
when he loses his superstar teammates, then he runs out of gas, and you're blaming him. But when he takes a series where he's down 3-1 and comes back to win it against a team who has the greatest record in the history of the National Basketball Association, then it's because Draymond Green was suspended, not counting the two other all-time superstars that they have, and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. But then when he loses his superstars, it's him running out of. All right, Skip, I got you.
Well, is he that guy or not? I don't know. I never heard Michael Jordan ran out of gas. I just never heard it one time. I don't know.
You never heard of Michael Jordan playing at 38 years old, averaging 28, 8, and 6. You've never heard of that because he wasn't playing at 38, and he wasn't playing at 39. Having a playoff or a month like LeBron James is having, going into his 39th year, his 21st year, 39 years old. I want to hear Jordan's stats from 37 to 39, like LeBron, please. Could you give me that line, Skip?
Playing ceremonial basketball in Washington as a favor to the owner. He was just sort of having fun.
But look, man,
right.
Skip, you can't try and create a conversation around Jordan and LeBron to make Jordan better than LeBron. You can't do that because it's not.
I can't do that.
Well, because first of all, Jordan didn't come out of high school, okay, to lead a bunch of me's and you's to a championship appearance. He didn't do that, okay? And then on top of that, he didn't take on the best team, regular season team in the history of the NBA, and then win on their court and hold up the trophy in 2016. He didn't do that. He just didn't.
No, he just scored 63 on one of the greatest teams I ever saw, the Boston Celtics of the mid-'80s. He scored 63.
His first championship was against a Laker team that was slowly declining.
Oh, so
and then the league
he didn't beat anybody. You got the Dallas
That's not what I'm saying. No, it's not a Dallas Cowboy argument. Not at all. Not at all. I'm just trying to get you. You're talking about, well, he didn't run out of gas. I'm like, well, LeBron James done did so many different things in his career that MJ didn't do. Like lead a team out of the Eastern Conference on his back at like 20 years old.
LeBron's lost 6 finals.
He's been
Jordan went 6-0 with 6 MVPs.
He's been to 10 of them.
Stop it.
Or 11 finals. Whatever the number is, he's been to them.
All right. Enough of this for the moment because we got to get back to what happened last night, that thing at Arrowhead. Man, what is wrong with the Chiefs offense? We got to go deeper.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.